Alright, so we're back out at the boat, and I decided I do think carpeting these sides now is probably better than waiting. I was going to wait and do it kind of as like a finishing step towards the end, but I want the carpet to actually run behind and look pretty finished behind this aluminum structure that kind of holds the back deck and live well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get the carpet on these sides now. I hope that my carpet glue is enough to hold it on there. I don't know if I'm going to have to put some staples in it or what I'll have to do, but we're going to give it a shot. So let's get going, and I'm going to lay the carpet out, take some measurements, and we'll go ahead and get it on there and see how we do. So I let the glue dry overnight, and then I came back this morning and tucked in the edges for the carpeting on the sides. Turned out all right. Today I think I'm going to get these hinges attached so that I can then get all of the lids of the compartments attached. And then after that, it'll probably be time to start getting some of these floors attached. I was hesitant to start attaching things because I didn't know how much access I'd need, but I think I'll have enough through the compartments, and I think I'll be okay. So I want to start getting some of these things installed permanently. Boat's kind of a mess right now. I got stuff everywhere, but I'm going to start getting some of these hatches and hinges attached. So we'll do that next. I'll get my stainless steel screws that I had took out from the old ones, get everything cleaned up, get the hinges cleaned up, and we'll start getting them installed. All right, today we're going to be installing the mount that the pedestal seats go on. One here in the front, one will be on the deck piece that goes in the back. I originally had planned to put this somewhere in this general front area here, but now that I'm laying it out, I feel like it doesn't leave a lot of room for your trolling motor foot pedal. So I think I'm actually going to move it just a little bit further back and install it in this center hatch. Having a seat be installed on this hatch lid is not the most convenient place, but I think with it being more comfortable to fish and put your foot on the trolling motor pedal, I think it's going to outweigh any inconvenience of having this, you know, in the way when you open the hatch. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'd rather have it be more comfortable fishing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that. We'll put one in this hatch, and then we're gonna put one in the center of that middle panel that goes in the back. We got our new boat seats in. I'm excited to check them out. Today we'll work on getting the seats put together on these little pedestals that have storage underneath. So I'm going to unbox these and we'll get to setting them up. Alright, so these seats have a couple pieces to them. First piece is this bottom base. There's going to be some storage under each seat. Each base has a hinge already attached. So we're going to be attaching each lid. We'll go like that, and then each seat goes onto the lid. So we already drilled the holes that line up with the bottom of each seat. So we'll go ahead and get all these assembled, and then when both of these are ready to go, we'll check our spacing and get them in the boat. Well, that's what it'll look like. It is offset to the left on purpose. I think so it doesn't crowd the center and it kind of puts you at a better spot for steering. The passenger side is also offset towards the outside of the boat. Storage. Let's get the other one in. All right, next step. I'm gonna kind of lay this out, I think where I want it in the floor. Get it nice and evenly spaced. And then we'll go ahead and run these screws through the holes in the bottom of each pedestal. Get them secured. We'll be set. All right, seats are in. Whoops, Christ, damn it. Okay, next I want to get this steering console in the boat. I think first it makes sense to just kind of strip it down, get rid of anything I'm not going to be reusing. I do have a new steering kit with a new steering wheel, so I'm going to be replacing that. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of strip this down and get anything off of here that I don't need, and then we'll see if we can get this in the boat and get it where we want it. Wow, all right, so that took a lot longer than I thought to get all those pieces off of there. So this console here's, well, it's seen better days. I think I really want to give this a good sand and then maybe figure out how I want to finish it. It should probably get some paint, huh? Not so sure it's going to look all that great just sanded. Well, that's where it goes. As much as I like the original Polarcraft logo on there, I feel like we should probably give this thing a fresh coat of paint or something. Okay, our paint job is done on the console. Next step, before I put it in the boat, I think it'll be easiest to assemble the steering wheel and the little assembly that does the steering before we put it in. So we're going to go ahead and get that started now. Not totally sure how all these fit together, but I'm hoping I can figure it out. First step, I think, is to attach the backing wood, which was mostly for support because the console is pretty thin aluminum. So we'll get that attached. And then this bracket spacer black piece goes next. That steering assembly attaches from behind to the bracket, and then the steering wheel should attach to the center, and then finally, well, the spacer goes in between the console and the steering wheel, and then finally the steering wheel goes on top. So hopefully that's as simple as it is. Let's get started. From what I can tell, this actual cable, this is the cable that feeds into that mechanism behind the steering wheel. This, once you start feeding it and turning the wheel, it's going to pull this through. So we'll do that once we're installed on the boat, I think. So don't need to worry about that for now. Let's go ahead and get a couple screws in here, and then we'll get the steering wheel on. Okay, so there's this little half moon shape here. I wasn't quite sure what this was for, but this locks in on the shaft here. You can turn so you can see it. It locks in, which it'll fit in there, which attaches to one of these slots And that's actually what attaches this shaft to the wheel, so when you turn the wheel, it turns the shaft. Otherwise, you know, it's going to turn independently of each other, and you don't want that. You slide your half moon in that slot, and then when you slide it down here when I'm totally ready, I don't know if I'm quite ready yet, but this slides down there, and then once this half moon lines up with this, then you're locked in.